I've been asking about Ukraine because of Ukraine being offered NATO light protection. I just wonder whether we should go the whole hog. Should Ukraine be given full NATO membership? Should that happen? John on the Isle of Wight says, I believe if Ukraine joins NATO, we are just lighting the match for all-out war, which there will be no winner of. I have a son who suffers anxiety, and every day I have to explain to him what's happening in the world. He is absolutely petrified there is going to be World War III. Let's discuss that further. Joining me now, Cormac Smith, former advisor to the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry. Good morning to you, Cormac.
David, good morning. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, lovely to talk to you yet again. This is a really interesting story. Obviously, we know NATO is meeting, and the headline is that Ukraine is set to be offered Israel-style security guarantees by its most powerful Western military allies. Now, the UK, United States, France and Germany will commit to a long-term plan to arm Kyiv to defend itself from Russian aggression. It's almost an olive branch, isn't it? It falls short of full NATO membership. Will Zelensky be pleased with that?
Not completely, no. And look, if I can take us back to 2008, when Ukraine's membership of NATO was first mooted, in my opinion, Ukraine should have been given membership in 2008. If that had happened, likely Georgia would not have been invaded a few months later. Certainly Donbass would not have been invaded in 2014, and Crimea illegally annexed, nor would we have this horrendous war at the moment. I've been studying matters in the eastern neighborhood very closely since 2014, when I first started working out there. Indeed, I attended a meeting with Jens Stoltenberg in late 2017 with the Ukrainian foreign minister. And I heard all the same words from Mr. Stoltenberg about warm words about the door being open and so forth. Things have moved along massively since this war broke out. And it's now clear that there is a strong consensus that Ukraine must be a member of NATO one day. Unfortunately for the Ukrainians, I don't think that's going to be until after the war is won, because they see Article 5 as a block to this and the concerns that
and Article 5 being an attack on one is an attack on all.
Yes, although I've got to say both Kurt Volker, the former US Special Envoy to Ukraine, and last night Vadim Prystaiko, who is Ukraine's ambassador to the UK, have argued that there is something called Article 6, which would allow Ukraine's membership to be constructed in such a way as not to have Article 5 as an impediment. I must say, I do not see that that is going to happen. And I would reflect on what Lord Robertson said last night. Lord Robertson, for viewers, was the last UK Secretary General of NATO. And what Lord Robertson said was, the priority at the moment is to give Ukraine every support and every weapon system that they need to defend themselves and to drive Russia off Ukrainian land. At that point, I think we can see full NATO membership. But in the meantime, what I certainly hope to see over the coming days is a far clearer path set out for Ukraine's eventual membership of NATO than we have seen to date. And I think the consensus is there for that. But Joe Biden, I think, will not countenance full membership at this stage. He has made that very clear.
Well, he has.
We shall see.
He absolutely has. He arrived in the United Kingdom, and it was sort of overshadowed by the announcement. He said, well, Ukraine simply isn't ready for NATO membership at the moment. And I think there is real concern, and I do understand that. And you made the point that I think people are concerned that they can't possibly allow Ukraine into NATO before the end of this war, because maybe it would be seen to be rattling the cage even more.
Well, what I would say about that, Russia reacts and respects only strength. So what is actually the fear is that if we escalate, it will, we have this pathetic old saying, we're poking the bear. And what the truth is, a red rag to a bull to Russia is acquiescence and backing down from them. When they are faced with strength, traditionally, they back down. So, you know, it might be my view as a friend of Ukraine that I would like to see membership sooner. The reality is that it is going to have to wait, I think. But I do hope over the coming days that we are going to see a very, very clear step change from NATO members in the path to full membership. But in the meantime, as Lord Robertson said, what is absolutely fundamentally important is that we give Ukraine all the support that they need. And actually important in that is the cluster munitions, which the Americans have agreed to supply to Ukraine. And there's been some debate over that. But, you know, in the absence of jets, which again, we're giving them over a year too late, they are having to progress very, very slowly in the current counter-offensive. So I think we won't see full membership for Ukraine by the end of this summit. What I certainly hope and expect we will see is a very, very clear path, a clearer path than ever before to that full membership. Because when this war is over, and the point that I really want to make, this is not just about Ukraine's security. Ukraine in NATO is going to make NATO stronger and all of us in Europe an awful lot safer.
Cormac, always a pleasure. Thank you very much indeed. That's Cormac Smith, former advisor to the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry.